Welcome to the 100th episode of the Christian Principles Podcast. Let's get right to it, folks.
The Christian Principles Podcast is brought to you in partnership with the Herzog Foundation. But bear in mind, the views and opinions expressed here are those of the hosts and not necessarily of the Herzog Foundation.
Welcome to the 100th episode of the Christian Principles Podcast. I'm, as always, Matt George.
And as always, I'm Mark Zockoll. It would be sad if I wasn't always.
I was going to say,
very different.
most of the time you're Mark Zockoll.
I have no alternate personality. I have no alternate ego. I am not Superman otherwise. This is just me.
Dog Zock.
Dog Zock. Thank you, Shelby King. Dog Zock.
Yeah, Dog Zock.
I never had a nickname like that before this year. I have leaned into Dr. Z in my online classes because it's just so much easier to type that as a signature than Joe. But anyway, welcome to the 100th episode, everybody. This is exciting. We do not have a topic for you today other than talking about ourselves. So
I mean, what else should we talk about?
Hopefully you're okay with that. No, we're going to celebrate. Today is all about celebration. So first up, we're just going to kind of take a journey through the 100 episodes that we've done. No, not like immediately, but just in general. What's happened in our first 100 episodes, we lost an episode and then we found it.
Yeah.
Very biblical. Like
how
cheap,
do you
right?
how do you lose an episode? Like
Listen,
that's something else. I mean, I get losing staplers, but losing recorded files, like how do you do that?
Losing the time, our time and somebody else's time. It was a guest. It was with a guest too, which was not good.
But we found it.
We did find it. We also though lost our very first sponsor.
Rip.
It was not for lack of airtime or anything like that.
Correct.
It's just the sponsor chose to go a different path. But we did pick up another sponsor, and of course we are so thankful for the Herzog Foundation.
Absolutely.
So, to the Herzog Foundation and their network of podcasts, make sure you go and listen to them. Make sure you go and follow them and support the Herzog Foundation as it supports so many in Christian education.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
Yeah, It is. It's exciting.
We also started making lots of shorts and reels out of the podcast, especially after we got in line with the Herzog Foundation. We started slicing up what we're doing on the podcast bit by bit into a lot of YouTube shorts and reels, and it gives us fodder for our Instagram and Facebook pages, but also we've just seen so many hits on YouTube. We've really started to see growth there, or as much growth as we've seen. So it's been
I'm glad you clarified that, because I know a lot of our listeners aren't the most tech savvy or social media people, but when I saw that we were going to announce we started making shorts and reels, like we're selling fishing equipment and merch, that's not what we're doing. No. We're not making shorts for you to wear, but
no.
But yeah, hopefully you've seen those videos, and a lot of people have, apparently. So
a lot more than we would have expected anyway. We've almost solved our audio issues. We've worked. Apparently, this is something that lots of podcasts and others have issues with. But we started strong. We had a volume issue. We feel as though we've overcome that volume issue more so than not, hopefully. But that doesn't mean that we've arrived quite yet. Yeah, sometimes we still have issues.
It's nice. It is nice not to have to worry about that.
Absolutely.
And right along with my improv background, we've also went away from following scripts.
Yes.
But not that we ever truly followed a script.
No, but one of the first, we've talked about this before, one of the first issues we had with our first sponsor and our founding partner was an issue of being too scripted versus not being scripted enough. And we really wanted to have some kind of skeleton in front of us. And when did we stop making those skeletons? I don't know, episode 30, episode 40. We stopped making those skeletons once we got in the groove and we realized more of what we should be doing. And I'll always go back to, I don't give Mr. Beast a whole lot of credit for much, because other than taking the attention of many of our students away from where it should be. But Mr. Beast he has talked about success in on YouTube and success just in general and making your own sort of content. And he said that he was 500 videos in before he made his first big one. And I remember that because being here at number 100, there are definitely things that we are doing now that we were not doing before, and
Right.
things that we will do at 200, Lord willing, that we would not have thought of doing at 100. So
Right.
yeah, it's a big deal to get there. All right. So speaking of getting there, where are we? Where do we stand right now?
Well, I'm sitting right now. I'm not standing, but and I'm sitting where this all started too, at my desk. So,
Where it all began. Yeah. Where it was. Well, where it was August 13th, 2024. We put out the first 5 episodes, which that actually was earlier than we expected to do it. We put out 5
Yeah.
episodes. And then since then, it's been every Monday and Thursday. And God willing, it will be every Monday and Thursday for a long time to come. But this is the 100th. So we praise God for that's exciting. If you look at some of our stats and where we are, which I know Matt does this less so. He more gets the reports and reads them and says good job or otherwise. But we are somewhere north of 45 downloads per episode in the immediate, and of course some podcasts have thousands and those downloads per episodes. Any of the stats that we give you, they don't tell the whole story because there's so much that goes on, and people that come in late come in and they don't download it right away and other things like that. But just so we see the 100 episodes so far with 45 plus downloads per episode and having earned some income. Now, not income like we're going to walk away from this as
Yeah.
we're going to walk away from our
We're
other
all
jobs.
set up now.
Yeah, nothing like some coffee money kind of thing. Neither one.
Yeah. We're you brought up Mr. Beast. We're now just going to be raining the money on other Christian schools. You want a gymnasium? We'll get you a gymnasium.
Here we go.
Yeah.
You want a gymnasium? We got you a gymnasium. No, we are nowhere. Not even close. I mean,
nor is that a goal. Yeah.
No, much more and he said shower. I mean, we shower others. We definitely have been able to turn some of that back to you, and we look forward to doing the same thing even later on this episode. So, enough to maybe earn a coffee, go to Chick-fil-A. We don't like coffee, so Chick-fil-A run, something like that.
Well, even bringing up the downloads and the stats, one of the things I know I'm not as, I'm interested. I'm always interested. But the only thing that to me affects me is when I see, well, this episode nobody's listened to. I'm like, well, what did we do wrong? What did we say that just nobody cares about that? But even that, I don't think we've really had that at all. So that's great.
Well, the Podmatch 2024 put out a report recently. So it's a report run in 2024, published recently. Most podcasts don't make it past 10 episodes. So we're thankful we've made it past 10.
Yeah.
The median podcast gets 29 episodes. 29 downloads per episode in the first 7 days. So we're above the average there. And only the top 20% of podcasts hit the other matrix what they would say that this podcast has. So again, thank you.
Thank you.
Pretty crazy. It's
cool.
exciting though. Matt, you want to introduce our next episode, our next segment, which we're going to have in future episodes as well.
Yeah, it's just, we brought up that we don't script things much anymore. We have kind of a structure that we have in mind. That's why you see a consistent, beginning and or cut to our ads and, all that kind of stuff. But one of the things that Mark and I have talked about, this podcast was created because we want to hear from you, our listeners, our audience. We want to involve you. That's why we love bringing on administrators, talking to them about, things that they're passionate about. We do the shout outs for every episode because that's why we're doing this. We're doing this for you guys. And so one of the things that we want to make sure we highlight during our episodes is what we're calling the CPP inbox. So when you're sending us emails or it's a comment on one of the videos or on the podcast episodes, we want to start featuring some of those things and talking about it maybe a little bit, but just adding it in and just giving an extra thank you for the word. So we've got some positive feedback that we're going to look back over from these 100 episodes.
From the 100 episodes, from the start, really. So I'll start with the first one. This is just general. Elizabeth Rogers is a contact that we've developed at the Herzog Foundation. And I just want to give much praise and thanks to the
Yeah,
Lord for Elizabeth Rogers. She has a consistent energy, a consistent positive energy. She's been tremendous to work with, very
absolutely.
flexible, awesome. She's put up with us when we didn't know what we were doing, so forth. So we feel heard with Elizabeth. We feel valued with Elizabeth, and we couldn't be more thrilled again to partner with the Herzog Foundation in this way. Matt, hit the next one.
Oh man, the next one's a big one because this one really came out of nowhere. Actually came out of somewhere,
Well, yeah, but
the Pacific, to be
yeah.
more specific. But our good friend that we've made because of the podcast, Mr. Jimmy Fitt, and the first one to acknowledge, oh, you guys are the podcast that I listen to, like awesome, and started contacting us, and just so energetic. We're looking forward to be able to talk with him and have him on the podcast here. I'm very excited about that one.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun.
But one of the things I just wanted to read that we got from him, he says, "I'm so thankful for what you guys do. It means so much to me personally. As I mentioned on the phone to Mark, we are the only non-denominational Christian school in Maui. So I don't get many opportunities to connect with other Christian principals. Having access to your podcast is truly the next best thing. It provides support, information, and peer mentoring that I really need. I'm literally on an island, and what you guys provide has been a huge blessing in my life. Mahalo ke akua
Oh,
for
good.
how he is using the two of you for Christian educators all over the world. Love you guys. I'm so grateful for the work you do for principals and the head of schools like me." That was like the first word, and we've talked a lot since. He's emailed a lot since. One of the things, especially, I just wanted to mention, he sent us particular prayer that he was praying for us. Just such an encouragement. We love you, Jimmy, and we're so thankful to be hitting our listeners this way.
And I'm hoping that Matt actually nailed that
Yeah, I hope
original
so too.
language there, because
Mahalo ke akua.
that was pretty good. That was a good try, at least.
I tried.
I'll point it to Mr. Tim Anger. Again, not a specific. We have so much communication for him. There's not specific communication, but he's been a source of feedback for us
Yeah.
recently. I know he sits on the board of the KCEA. He has pushed us with thoughts on how we could improve. He's pushed us on thoughts of what we could do with the show. He's been very open and honest with us about what is successful for him and his unique situation. He's talked to us about his YouTube channel. It's just been just another one of those. It is great to get to know somebody who otherwise I'd like to think I'm a collector of friends and a collector of professional acquaintances. Maybe
You
I would
definitely
have
are.
at some point. Yeah, maybe at some point I would have crossed that and crossed paths with him and gotten to know him. But the podcast definitely sped that up, right?
Yeah.
Sped that up.
Yeah.
I'll go to the next one here too. Debbie Hudson. So Debbie Hudson comes to us out of California. Debbie Hudson's social media team was the first one to ever contact us on Instagram saying, "Hey, you should shout out our leadership team." And so we sent her a canary envelope with some encouragement in it, and she reached back out to us in Thanksgiving, and she was willing to even share our information and some stickers with her Christian School Association, which I think it's just Christian School Association is what they kind of go by informally, but it's out in California. And so we got more people listen to us in California because she was willing to share with us. She was
Yeah.
willing to share and volunteered to share with that squad. So, hey, Debbie, thank you
Thank you.
so
Thank you,
much for
Debbie.
that. Truly. Yeah.
Oh man, so many others. Dr. Leslie Nichols, we've talked to her a couple times on the podcast. She's just been a huge help from the start. Sharing the podcast with others, sharing with us. Hey, you guys should talk about this. You should talk about that. And man, it's been awesome.
Great to get to know her. Definitely there. We got over here Principal Lynn Poor. Here's a note from her. Last evening, I sat down and listened to the podcast. I know that I will benefit greatly from listening. Now to figure out how to make my car play it. I'm learning new skills every day. Your kind shout out was so nice. Oh, these were two different ones, so I should say that. The first was, I listened to the podcast, thank you. And then we have, I'm learning new skills every day. Your kind shout out was so nice. It made me tear up to be so appreciated. Serving God has been my life for the last 38 years in Christian education. I know God has prepared me for where he placed me currently. The last 18 years at CCA have honestly been the most precious years of my life, and I've gotten to know Lynn during that time, so I'm part of that preciousness.
Woohoo!
It's exciting.
Yeah. And of course, we got to go back to the OG.
As the kids say, to the OG.
To the OG. what I like to say, the first official fan
Absolutely.
of the Christian Principles podcast,
Yeah.
who we lovingly refer to as B-Dubs.
B-Dubs.
Where
Absolutely.
we still have his first word of
Mm-hmm.
encouragement to us, where he says, I am now an official subscriber to CPP and look forward to listening to all currently posted and future podcasts. I don't know if you knew you were going to go over 100, but we did.
Yeah, it's a commitment of time on his part.
But he says Christian school administrators are on an island. Jimmy, we see you, we feel you, most of the year. An occasional conference or retreat and 2 infrequent phone communications tend to be among the limited iron sharpening iron opportunities with one another. I believe your podcast will be edifying to all of us in that camp. And then he also says, thank you both for your efforts for this podcast. I'm already a cheerleader and will seek to network for its promotion. The 20-minute length is perfect for those of us who have short commutes.
20 minutes. Well, we try.
We try. We
try.
We do what we can.
It might be a 2 commute episode every
I
now
like
and
to
then.
I like to think that it feels like it's a 20-minute episode.
Hopefully, yeah. Hopefully it doesn't drag. Those are not the only comments we got, though.
No,
so
they're not.
They're the representative inbox, positive. Yeah. We did get some,
we got to
feedback.
save some. Yeah.
Well, we did get some other sorts of feedback, though, that are definitely worth commenting on. So first up, back to you, Josh Venkart and Daniel Ashton, calling us out on our Principal Timeline series, just completely whiffing on some serious holidays that there's no way we should have whiffed on. Like, we should have just opened our eyes and seen anything. Seen our own calendar, and we would have seen some of these things. But yeah, Josh got us for, what was it? It was
spring break.
Spring break.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Daniel got us for National Day of Prayer and National School Principals Day. Like, how did we miss National School Principals Day and the National Day of Prayer?
You know, I will say, after those two guys pointed those things out, I think we are so worried about it now that we're probably more likely to miss things.
True
because of how worried we are.
Also, I got to point to YouTube as just being, I'm glad people enjoy it, but people who comment on YouTube, they have nothing else to do with their lives, apparently. We have maybe one positive comment on, okay, a couple, like one of them coming from Mr. Tim Anger. After hearing the audio podcast, I had to come here to see it because we are recording this. Even you can see it now on Spotify and YouTube if you want to find them there. But one, Big Will and the Chocolate Storm 4523 2 months ago. Zealot much? Like that was the comment. That was the comment. I replied, interesting. Anything else to offer? I didn't know what else to say to that.
Zealot much?
And then we have a Laughing My, won't repeat that.
Okay.
Christians are worried about their optics. Christians haven't worried about their optics ever. He can't repeat all the things that he has said in that comment, but they're there. When we posted about PNC Park versus Camden Yards, we got a real colorful one. You're both on drugs. Wrigley Field, bar none, and it's not even close. All right, brother. Thank you for that, man. I guess it's okay.
Good for you.
There's no more free rides for organized superstition. Pay your taxes. Thanks, brother.
Got it.
So yeah. So there's some smattering of the ones that we hit on YouTube, and they're funny when they come in because these people have way too much time to talk about whoever else.
I will say, like, for those of you that do listen, like, we do want to hear from you, but you know what? I am perfectly fine with you just making fun of us on YouTube and just adding to those comments.
Yeah, just add to them.
Get in there and just, make fun of, Mark's hairline, whatever you want.
Whatever it is.
Something.
It's easy. Fine. Yeah, point and go for it. All right. So if we're going to move on to some best memories, we wanted to actually talk about something. Matt, you've already talked about Jimmy Fit finding us in the wilds. I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that first communication. That was awesome. I actually teared up a little bit.
I mean, the day that all went down, like, I know Mark and I, we both said, like, this is why we're doing this. And like, if we were worried about how long we'd be able to sustain, like, Jimmy, you pumped the life right into the Christian principles.
Yeah.
Not that, like, and thankfully we weren't even like and a lag or thinking, oh, this is going to be too hard. Like, we're going strong,
Mhm.
but definitely it's like, yes, that's what we've been after. So
Mhm.
it's cool.
I've seen that times in my life where God gives these little moments of affirmation, like, yep, that's what I want you to do. I even had one yesterday, to be honest. Like, yep, this is the path I want you on. You're
Yeah.
not crazy. This is what I want you to do. Keep doing it. Follow me. The Roger Erdvig convo, which we had very early on. In fact, it's amazing to me that Dr. Erdvig gave us that time as such youthful podcasters that we were. Um, but this was I'm looking back right now as to, let me see
Yeah.
if I can find it
It
real
was wild. It
fast.
was
It
ways
was
back.
in the first. It was, there it is, right there, number 26, number
Phew.
26. And he came on and he talked to us about an article he'd written concerning board relationships. And I remember just nodding like the whole
Yes.
time. And we'd have
My,
cameras up. But if our
yeah.
cameras were up, I'd just been nodding like, yes, 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 everything you're saying, more, everything you're saying. So that's great.
Yeah.
You know, Matt
Yeah.
also, when Matt likes an idea, he's an active participant in these conversations, and so much that he's both like talking to the people he's interviewing, but also writing things down. Like, I gotta
Yeah.
do this, gotta do that, gotta do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
see it on camera sometimes. It's awesome.
I'm not, I am as much an audience member as I am an actual host and interrogator. It's just like, tell me more. I need to do this. Yeah. Except for whenever Mark continues to bring up the point that I've got to go back to school.
Shut that down.
I have yet to write that down, but it does need to happen. Of course, even looking to the times where we've gotten to now send out those canary envelopes, like that also like took it to the next level for us. Like we were know that we wanted as a mission to reach the ears of administrators, but right along with that to be an encouragement. And when we were given this opportunity, it was like, yes, this is how we communicate and prove this is what we're about. So
Absolutely.
that was a great moment whenever we started doing that.
Yeah, couple send outs. Actually, we got a third mailer we got to make out soon. So we've gotten the green light to work with certain associations in some larger contexts that aren't just podcasts. Never thought those opportunities. I never even thought to think about opportunities like that coming along until we started this, and here we are moving forward in those directions. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, of course, we brought it up with Jimmy, but just rubbing shoulders with our fans.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're not quite to the place of giving out autographs or anything, but man, B-dubs, there's a memory right there.
B-dubs.
B-dubs.
Every time. And riding in the car, you mentioned riding in the car with Josh Fenkart up to the Max administrators meeting, and he was there, and he pointed out that's where, he called us out on the lack of spring breaking and whatnot. But
the awesome thing about that van ride with Josh was, he kept bringing up, when you guys talked about this in this episode, or when you talked about that in this episode, and like we were having genuine conversation about, how can we make our institution stronger and things. But I was sitting behind Josh, and just the whole time I'm just kind of like, he remembers things we talked about. I don't even remember talking about. This is great. Like we have a fan.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Like
Truly.
that was cool.
That's awesome. Never would have thought. All right, if we're going to keep this train rolling, we're going to have
gotta move it on.
Our platform stats would show that the top 5 episodes, we have a 6th one to include there. Our top 5 episodes are as follows. First of all, number 23, the State of the Pod. For whatever reason, people like our State of the Pod. And the second one went off well, not quite top 5, but went off a second and third one so far. 91, improving the discipleship of student athletes with guest Joshua Horning.
That was a big one.
We strike a vein when we talk about athletes and Christian schools, so we're gonna have to revisit that one some more. Whenever we go low on views, we're gonna have to hit student athletes some more.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. So then the 83, third, raw reaction to completing an accreditation site visit. So those are a couple recent ones. There. Number 4, though, was our very first episode, intro and networking. So we have the first being a very early one, the second and third being a little bit closer to where we are now, and the fourth being the very first one. And then number 5, free Christian school administration training with the Herzog Foundation and talking through what the Herzog Foundation offers. Speaking of that, let's go ahead and hear from the Herzog Foundation right now.
The Christian Principles Podcast is proud to partner with the Herzog Foundation in our mutual goal to see Christian school educators thrive. to further its mission to catalyze and accelerate the development of quality, Christ-centered K-12 education. The Herzog Foundation offers an array of programs such as online content, up-to-date news, training and events, grants, and hands-on organizational improvement initiatives. Leaders need to head over to the Herzog Institute to find amazing training opportunities for both administration and teachers. Herzog has also become a great hub of the latest news in education through their network of podcasts, including the one provided by yours truly. What a blessing the Herzog Foundation has been. Head over to herzogfoundation.com now so you too can be strengthened by this incredible organization. That's herzogfoundation.com. Just one more thing before we get back to the episode. If Herzog has been a blessing to you and your school, would you mind sending us a message telling us how? We'd love to share that with others.
And now with those top 5 episodes, we have to give the honorary 6th episode, because for the longest time throughout our podcast history, this was up at the top of the list. Everybody talked to us about this one. This one continued to perform better than everybody else. And of course, that was our very second episode talking about bathroom monitoring.
Potty time. Yes, the commode is something that apparently all the principals want to talk about. So the number 6, the number 6 episode right now was our second episode, bathroom monitoring. And I think the simplicity of that really wraps up what it is that we want to do. We want to have immediately practical conversations that you don't even have professional development that doesn't hit this. The school conversations when you're in the master's and the doctoral classes are theoretically not hitting this, but we will. Yeah. We want to. We'll talk about staplers.
You want to talk about practicality. These two gentlemen had a conversation this very morning about very topic.
We talked about that.
So it is extremely practical, even for those that are supposedly the professionals talking about it. But clearly we're not.
We're not. We've talked to you before about the three platforms that we're not the most concerned with, but where we're going to be
focused
offering data and pulling data analytics from. And so Apple Podcasts, we're up to 90 followers on Apple Podcasts as of yesterday. That's a wow, just incredible. So thankful for that. Spotify, 73. We know that more people listen on Apple Podcasts than Spotify, and it's just interesting to see it grow. And then YouTube, 33. We have had way more subscribers on YouTube very recently. Because of those shorts. We do post these full episodes on YouTube, but we get under 10 views or so per episode. Outside the athletic one was a big deal with Joshua.
Yeah.
But other than that, our shorts are why we are on YouTube. Really, they're popping. So.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but every time you use the word shorts and that we're popping, I just think of like the brightest colored shorts you could pop, because you wear some crazy colored shorts.
Absolutely.
So that's just, every time you say that, that's immediately what's in my head. And even the picture that comes to my head, they aren't long enough, Mark. You need longer shorts. I don't know why. It's just what pops in my head.
In the modern day, the bathing suit is a smaller inseam. It's a return to what our fathers and grandfathers would have worn playing basketball.
Yeah, exactly.
So it is what it is.
I don't like it. I really don't like it. I know I was funny. I know this has nothing to do with the episode, but I was wearing some shorts that I told my wife, I was like, man, I feel like I'm back in the 90s. This is great. I love this. My kids are looking at me and they're like, why aren't you just wearing pants? Like, you might as well be wearing pants.
Why are you wearing that dress, Dad? What's up with that? We look back at the NBA draft. Yeah, the NBA at that point, and we see those long, baggy shorts, and it's such a reaction.
Almost touching the floor. Yeah.
Now we're telling kids, stop rolling your shorts. Stop rolling your shorts.
All right. We need to move into the next segment.
We definitely should move in that next episode. The next segment, we've routinely prayed for a Christian administrator, and we'll go ahead and offer our spotlight now. Today's Fermium podcast. By the way, this is the Fermium podcast.
Oh my goodness, we
didn't even mention that.
See, this is why we typically did script things, so that we didn't jump over kind of important details that we should have said at the beginning of the episode.
This is our 100th episode. That makes our the medal, the thing which represents the anniversary. It's Fermium.
Fermium.
It's a radioactive synthetic chemical element with the atomic number of 100.
100.
It belongs to the astenide series, and it's not found in nature. It's produced by a neutron bombardment. So this was like discovered when they set off nuclear bombs, apparently. Hopefully that's not what we're doing today.
There you go. Yeah, we're setting off a bomb.
But the fermium is a silvery white material, and it celebrates, and we celebrate it as the focus point, I don't know, the medal of the medal of this 100th
Stick
episode.
that one up on the shelf. There we
Our
go.
Fermium podcast. Okay, so on this Fermium podcast, we are going to go to friend David Lavoie. David, I feel really bad, Dave. We do.
I don't feel bad. I don't feel bad.
Okay, Matt was with you more recently.
No, we were, we were saving David for this moment.
For such a time as this. Such a time as this. Was it Dave Lavoie, is a fellow Christian school administrator, knew him as a member of the Maryland Association of Christian Schools, where he served at 2 different of those spaces as principal and then as the lead of the school, the administrator. And now is at Bethel Christian in Hampton Roads, Virginia, where he's serving on the pastoral staff. And part of that pastoral staff service is Christian school administrator. So Dave, we're going to pray for you now. But this time, Matt and I are both going to pray and offer God some thanksgiving for what he has raised up in these first 100 episodes. Matt, you can pray for Dave and whatever else, and I'll finish us out.
All right, let's pray. Father, thank you for David. I thank you for his friendship that we've had over the years, and as it was sad to see him leave Maryland, but we know that he is pursuing his ministry for you and doing a great work there in Hampton Roads, and it was great to be able to connect with him again on our crossing paths on the senior trip. I just pray that you would encourage him as he finishes out this year. Lord, I also thank you for the opportunity Mark and I have had to work on this podcast, and it's been something that we both have just been very passionate about and wanting to be an encouragement to other school leaders. And thank you for the opportunity we've had, and even just the things as we look back over these 100 episodes, a lot to be very thankful for, and cherish all of these conversations. And it's just an encouragement to know that these are out there for other administrators like Jimmy that are looking for that camaraderie and the help and assistance that we're there, and it'll be there. It's awesome to know that. I just pray that you continue to help us as we can continue this effort, that you would guide us in the conversations that we have, and that you would continue to just help us to know how we can be a better service for you first and foremost, but then for our fellow Christian school leaders. We thank you for all of this through your Son, Jesus. Amen.
Father in heaven, you say in the word that you will give us the desires of our heart. The Holy Spirit will intercede for us when we know not what else to say. And I can't help but feel right now that we didn't know we were going to be doing this. Matt and I didn't have an understanding of this before Matthew came up and talked to us about this. And what a blessing it has been to pursue an opportunity that we both enjoy so much. And I pray for the different administrators that are listening right now, and the teachers, the educators that are listening, those that we love and we want to see succeed, because it is a great work you've called them to. Might we be an encouragement to them, as they have so long been an encouragement to us and the many people they serve. We thank you for your Son, our Savior. Amen.
Amen.
All right, folks, the last thing we want to talk to you about today is an opportunity for you to get some coffee money, to get a Dunkin' card. All right. So we're going to celebrate you in this 100th episode. So here's how we're going to do it. If you would like to be one of the first 20 people to go on to Facebook or Instagram and share on your feed, share on your story your favorite episode. So all we're asking you to do is go on your own social media and share your favorite episode. Either you're going to actually grab a link from Apple or Spotify or wherever, Podbean, wherever you're listening on YouTube. Grab the link and put it there in your post, or just describe it. Maybe just describe it for your peers so that they might hear what it is that you are enjoying about us.
I'm just going to say this, Mark, and I didn't talk about it, but I want to say that sharing this one doesn't count.
Okay.
Like, I mean, it may be your favorite.
Yeah.
And if you want to share it, great, thank you. But we really want you to go back and dig up that episode that was really helpful to you or was really exciting for you. So truly, we want your favorite episode because we want people going back and listening. Like, yes, we love you guys that are sticking with us and keeping up. But yeah, go back and find another one.
Absolutely.
I'm going to throw that out there.
There you go. So what you're going to do is you're going to tag our podcast page, and you'll do that by typing the @ followed by our podcast username, which on Instagram is cprinciplespod, and on Facebook it is @Christian Principles Podcast. It may be Christian Principles Pod, but if you start typing out at some point, by the time you get to the pod, you should get there, especially if you already follow us. So you're going to hit the @ symbol and then type out C Principles Pod on Instagram or Christian Principles Podcast on Facebook, and be one of the first 20 people to do it. First 20 people to do it, boom, you're going to get a $5 gift card sent to you. Even if you've already gotten a gift card, we're going to send you another one. If you are, even if you're at Matt school or you're a brand new school, we don't know who you are. It doesn't matter.
Even if you're mom, we're going to send you, mom.
Yeah. You hear that, Teresa? You hear that, the Risa? Yeah, you too. You don't even like coffee. We'll give you something anyway. That's fine, because it's 100 episodes. We're doing it. We want to celebrate you.
Great. Yeah,
let's do it. So the first 20,
cool.
Let's make it happen. Matt, anything else to add today?
Oh, man, I'm looking forward to. I know I said this in our other State of the Pod, but man, 100. I'm looking forward to 1,000. I don't know what medal goes along with 1,000, but we got to start figuring that out. But
we've done
we're on our way.
Well, if it's 100 and what, 3/4 of a year? I don't know how many years I'll take to get to 1,000, but why not? Let's get there. We won't run out of anything to say. But folks, otherwise, thanks for growing with us today.
Before you go, please be sure to hit that follow button on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Also, on Spotify, be sure to tap the star icon near the top and select the number of stars you'd like to give us. We'd be so grateful for 5. On Apple Podcasts, scroll down to the ratings and review section and then tap write a review to share your thoughts of the podcast. Thank you.